Hello everyone and welcome to the joinDOTA League Season 2. This is the America Region Division 1. It's going to be a best of 2 series just between Sneaky Nyx Assassins and CNB. I originally had started the broadcast saying NAR. That was incorrect, so I apologize for that. And before I really get started, I would like to say if anything is wrong with the audio, I had some audio issues last time I was streaming as far as me being too quiet, my announcer being too loud, things like that. Please let me know in the Twitch chat. I will be watching that pretty carefully. It will be on a bit of a 2-minute delay, so I won't be able to fix anything that is said there for that amount of time. So now that I have that out of the way, I'm going to be soloing casting this. My name is Roxas, and welcome. Thank you for everything. So we're going to be going ahead and getting into, well, I can't even hear my announcer at all at this point. Hold on a second. Let's get
10 seconds remaining.
I think that'll be good.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright, cool. So, bands coming out, SNA, we've seen a lot of, especially in the North American qualifiers for TI4. They worked out pretty well. CNB, we see a lot, mostly here in the joinDOTA League. So, it should be pretty good games, I think. A lot of the times we kind of see a bit one-sided matches here in JDL, but not between these two teams. I believe Sneaky Nyx Assassins is at the top, or at least near the top, and CNB pretty close there as well. So the bands coming out going to be Tree first, followed by the Naga Siren, and then CNB, they're going to deny the Dire Side Lycan, as well as IX Mike's Batrider. So the first pick coming out, SNA could pick up a Nyx, they could pick up a Invoker if they really want to, even though Sneaky Nyx Assassins doesn't really run Invoker too much. Who else is really good that's always picked in the first phase? I mean, Centaur Warrunner, he's not as popular as he was, but he's still very good. There's Tidehunter. Oh yeah, and there's Potom. God, I'm so used to seeing Potom in every game that I just forget that she actually has to be picked or banned before she's... Yeah, I just assume she's there already. So yeah, it is going to be Potom, of course. So CNB. They do like to run the Invoker as well for 40R. No, it's not 40R. I can't remember who their mid player is off the top of my head, so I apologize for that. But they have Invoker in the pool. They have Centaur. They have Shadow Demon as well. They've got lots of pretty good heroes, and this is just what the first phase is usually about. CNB is not really one of those teams that'll usually pick up combos at this phase in the draft. We more often than not just kind of see them. We do see them go for 2 standard picks, not necessarily in combination with one another, such as Fnatic or Na'Vi like to do, especially with the Wisp combos, or the Mirana combos, or anything like that. A lot of, I can't remember which team, but there was one team that always picks up a Wisp and a Witch Doctor in this phase as well, just with the double heal. It's actually pretty sick. I know that Kaibutsu's on that team, but the name is escaping me at the moment. But they're burning through a lot of time here. I think they're really trying to use this time to hatch out their whole game plan, because they're like, alright, we're against the Dire Side Mirana already. So that's going to be pretty difficult, because they're going to be able to take a decent amount of team fights. And Sand King going to be their first support pickup here, so... And Nature's Prophet. Alright, so they've had time to discuss their battle plan. They're going to go for the strong support in the Sand King as well as the Nature's Prophet. So the Nature's Prophet, what he offers to your team is different than most other offlaners. He's not really an initiation hero. You definitely need some other initiation. He kind of follows up. He can always be split pushing a lane and always TP into a fight whenever it really starts to get hairy. He can become a carry late in the game, but he's not someone like a Clockwork or a Centaur or Batrider in the traditional offlaner sense. And SNA, they're going to go ahead and pick up their own Darkseer for IX. So Darkseer, not only being a good team fighter and strong in the offlane, but he actually does really well anti-pushing Nature's Prophet, because you just throw one Ion Shell in the creep wave, and all the things that Nature's Prophet's trying to deal with is, well,
10 seconds
it's pretty difficult. So the Darkseer is good. It also denies it from the Sand King combination. So SNA probably going to ban something like the Ancient Apparition, I would imagine, because that pairs quite well with the Sand King, as well as the global presence from the Nature's Prophet coming on out. Unless they wanted to pick an A for themselves, or they don't get the first pick out of this phase. So right now they're really trying to both of these picks are always really versatile. You don't usually want to show your hand in the first phase. It just makes the second banning phase way too transparent, and it's really hard to get the heroes that you need to get. So CNB also, these are pretty non-committal picks. I think SNA's picks are a little bit more committal. You don't really have to commit to Team Global or Team Fight or whatever. Those are just Nature's Prophet and Sand King, just good heroes on their own in the laning phase, in the mid game, and the late game as well. They're just good all around. And they have different weaknesses, but SNA, they're going to ban out a Puck. Good team fighting hero, very strong mid laner, good for aggressive lineups as well. Synergizes very well with the two ultimates from the heroes that are both on the board. So, going to be interesting. They're going to ban out CNB, going to ban out the Brewmaster. That's another annoying hero to deal with as it's played well, which SNA can definitely do. Not to mention the synergy with the Darkseer. Turn up your volume a bit. Yes,
10 seconds remaining.
I can turn up my mic a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's. I think that should be good. Alright, so. Okay, so thank you, Flubsy. I'm going to go ahead and... I turned my mic volume up a little bit. I'll look at the chat in 2 minutes and see if that's fine. So, SNA, they're going to ban out the Rasa. Tower pushing would have been really annoying, but the Templar Assassin going to be banned out from CNB. Dire side TA, quite strong, even if it's not a particular lane counter, like against a Puck or an Invoker. But CNB, with their last pickup, they decide they're going to go full global. They pick up the Wisp, and it's really good because SNA can't really deny one of the popular Wisp picks, such as Tiny, CK, or Sven. However, they do secure themselves a Disruptor, which is incredible because you send one of them back, or when they're relocating in, you get to see it, and you can throw a Static Storm and Kinetic Field right on top of their relocation position, which is very strong, not to mention the synergy with the Darkseer. So, I wouldn't say it's a slip-up for CNB to be letting that through, or maybe not to think it through, but just really smart of SNA to snap pick that up to know that they're going to be going against the Wisp with that. So we'll see what they decide to go for.
5 seconds remaining.
I think Tiny is kind of accepted as the best Wisp partner. They don't necessarily need a Wisp partner, like traditional sense, where Wisp just kind of follows them around. But it could work out pretty well. The only problem is with the Mirana, and especially if there's another ranged mid hero, such as even Drow Ranger, or maybe Mirana goes mid and they pick up a Weaver. CNB's going to have a hard time with that melee hero getting kited out. But they don't have a whole lot of time. They burn through a lot of bonus time. They go with a Storm Spirit. So
Dire team pick.
That's their mid hero. I think the idea is that anytime Storm is going to go pick off someone, then all of a sudden there's 3 more heroes to help that as well. There are really 2 strategies with Team Global. It's like you gank with one hero and then have a lot of backup, or you just farm and then take team fights as well and just kind of minimizing the travel time. So
10 seconds remaining.
The Storm's a good pickup as well, just because the Orchid is going to be incredible against all the heroes on the board from SNA a bit. Okay, thank you, Flubsy. Apparently that helped a bit. Just let me know if any more volume issues are there. I turned my mic down a lot recently because when I had it up all the way, there was just a bunch of static noise in the background, and I wanted to try to minimize that and adjust things. So thank you for helping. But anyway, SNA with their last pickup here, I think they could pick up a Rubik if they really wanted to. I think that would be great in this lineup. Ancient Apparition is still on the board, even though CNB would not take that up, but it still synergizes quite well. Dude, your mic has a lot of white noise. I don't have the best mic in the world. Sorry. But anyway, I'll turn it down a little bit more to try to minimize that. And maybe if I'm a little bit quiet with less white noise, well, that'll be it. So SNA, they're taking a lot of time to really think about this one. They have 5 seconds left.
5 seconds remaining.
I think Weaver is okay. They pick up Bane. So I guess Bane, Mirana, Disruptor in the lane is fine. This is also going to be good because it's more than likely going to be a BKB carrier for the Wisp partner, which Bane is going to be able to counter with the Fiend's Grip. Um, and Invoker, still in the pool, going to be the last ban out here from CNB. I totally just missed the fact that he was still in the pool. I'm so used to him, same as Marana, just
10
being there.
seconds remaining.
After this phase, I just kind of quit thinking about them. But SNA probably need to ban out,
5
I think,
seconds
Tiny here.
remaining.
Unless they want to bait into one. They're going to ban out Luna. So Wisp Luna's good.
Radiant team pick.
It's a lot of late game that SNA maybe won't be able to compete with with Storm, Furion, and Luna. So we'll see. And they go with Wisp Morphling. So
Dire team
going to be a
pick.
range hero. They probably will do a dual lane mid and maybe a safe lane Storm with the Sand King in the jungle. And SNA don't really have too much to counter this outside of the Invoker, or sorry, the Disruptor. But still, Morphling, he needs a lot of items. If he doesn't have the greatest laning phase, if he's not babysat that well, it's kind of difficult. However, they are on the Radiant side, so...
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, well... I will have to address that after the game. Okay, I appreciate the feedback, everyone, and I'm sorry that I don't have the perfect equipment, so I apologize, but we'll try to deal with what we can, and I'll try to adjust some more after the game. So appreciate the feedback, and thank you for being patient. And the last pickup going to be the DK here. Strong mid laner, especially against someone fairly squishy such as Morphling. He will have the Wisp probably to help him out, but since they are on the Radiant side, he'll be able to farm those camps, so not going to be the end of the world. I think I'm kind of favoring CNB. Actually, not. They both have a lot of late game. They have a lot of team fight. They have a lot of pickup
10 seconds remaining.
or they have a lot of pickup potential as
5
well.
seconds remaining.
I think I favor SNA because I think they have more late game when BKBs start coming out. I don't really think that CNB does whenever BKBs start coming out. So we're going to have the traditional pause at the beginning of the game for everyone to discuss, like, alright, you're buying Courier, I'm buying Courier. Alright, you're buying wards, okay. Alright, am I getting smoke? It's like, alright, which lane am I going? Fluff and stuff, he's already going down to the bottom lane, so probably going to be an aggro tri-lane coming out, which to be expected with a Bane Marana +1. This is a best of 2. So, we're going to go ahead and introduce the teams. On the side of CNB here, we're going to have Paradox, the stand-in, going to be playing the Wisp. It's going to be Ned. On the support Sand King, we'll have King RD as the Storm Spirit. 40R will be playing your Morphling, and heading to the off lane on the Furion, it's going to be Brasil. And in the safe lane, as the IX Mike, we're going to have a DC. Holy crap, this Dragon Knight set. What? Helm of Blazing Superiority. Is this new? God, this is... He has long locks. This is crazy. Looks like a freaking Dovahkiin, man. Well. Anyway. So the DC coming out from Brazil, I don't know what happened, but we'll see. I don't really like to do team introductions during pauses just because the big game is pausing is in the way. Kind of, you want to see them in action, you know. So we'll see. I need to find my quiet keyboard. Oh, there it is. It is sitting on my piano. I'll grab that in just a moment to make sure that when I'm typing, it does not sound super loud from my beautiful CM Storm Quickfire. No plugging at all, don't worry. So, I don't know why we're still waiting. Because he's in the game. This rat is in the game. God, have you ever just noticed how ridiculous his eyebrows are? They go off his head. It's like a mustache on his face. But anyway, on the side of SNA, we're going to have Fluff and Stuff as the Mirana going to the bottom lane. Going to be supported by Nusham. And in the mid lane as the Darkseer, we're going to have, and the Dragonite's going to be SNA on SNA. IX Mike was in the bottom lane, and it looks like it's going to be Lust playing the Disruptor. Some interesting laning coming out. Might be dual lanes with IX Mike kind of farming the jungle a bit, which you can do very easily. Wisp Morph going to be in the mid lane as well. Going to be breaking some trees as well with the tether. And Wisp Morph, like, not super traditional, but gives you a lot of global presence, gives the Morph a lot of regen, which he just benefits from a lot more than other heroes. And the cool thing about it is with the relocate, you can relocate somewhere and then Morphling makes a replicate of the Wisp and then can just go back to that as well. The mobility is just absolutely absurd, especially when the Morph is babysat by a Wisp. He just is going to be so much better. So as anticipated, it will be a dual lane mid. Will be the Storm Spirit and the safe lane, and we'll have Ned trying to get out to the jungle as often as he can. So Brazil took some trees, level 1, use them to scout out a bit. He's going to be taking them to the off lane. Probably see him do the whole phase boots rush into a Midas, and already double Ion Shell by IX Mike, so he's being really aggressive here. I guess he just wants to see if he can force Brazil off the lane as early as possible. And there just will be a dual lane bottom, it looks like, with Lust doing the pulls. So I guess they kind of read that it's going to be a dual lane mid, so they would best be facing a dual lane, and wanted to get more experience out of the map, and the Disruptor isn't going to be adding too much as far as the kill potential. Bane and Mirana are going to be the majority of that. So, going to be fine. With the cute Illusion Rune, Potom's going to be able to block this pull camp at 30 seconds and at level 1, or at minute 1, so pretty cutesy play there. Going to be kind of annoying, and I think SNA might be having a bit of a tougher time here, just because when Morph is able to morph enough agility to have 70 damage right off the bat, you can't really compete without 53, especially when you're melee. And the Wisp got the bottle at level 1, so he actually didn't buy any support items. Sand King went ahead and bought Courier and Wards, so he's got the standard build for that, and already this lane's going to be very, very tough for a Dragon Knight. In the top lane, I kind of expect Brazil to get a lot of experience just because IX Mike, he's not really going to be able to farm super effectively without pushing the lane, which is just the nature of the Darkseer. And since Brazil is ranged, he should be okay as far as just still being able to get experience in last hits. And if the wave is pushing to his tower constantly, it should be easy enough. In the bottom lane, we actually saw that Enfeeble is taken at level 2 just to make sure that Storm can't last hit. Storm has actually incredible base damage at the early levels, already at 55 just at level 2. And Potom, not really the greatest, so just going to be harassing him while he's got the mana for it. And he's got some clarities as well, so he got 3 clarities, plus they already have a Ring of Bassi. So they can do that pretty much as long as they want. And Ned, he's just, yeah, as far as these lanes break down, I think it's just going to be everyone's going to be getting the farm. Like, Nature's Prophet might get harassed out, Dragon Knight might get harassed out, Storm maybe needs to be a little bit careful, but they're getting away with the Jungle Sand King eventually. They're going to get away with this Morphling, and still, it's not really like, sometimes teams will fall into this trap of, like, oh, we have the better late game, so we just need to relax and get to the late game, right? But SNA actually has a lot of late game, especially in their supports. With the AoE Doom that's going to come out from the Disruptor once he gets his Aghanim Scepter, as well as the Bane, is incredibly underrated late game. Plus Darkseer, you can just get a copy of your strong heroes and use them in a fight. Things such as AC aren't really the greatest for that reason. If he gets an Aghanim Scepter, gets a copy of the Morphling, that is actually a pretty interesting counter. Sometimes just copies of like a Morphling or an Anti-Mage can be the best hero on your team. So, I don't know. I think that it's really on both heroes, or both teams, to be kind of aggressive early. SNA with their Roche advantage, they should probably try to be aggressive whenever they can, and I think that anytime CNB has like a Storm Spirit and then a relocate going to gank, they should try to get those pickoffs. Speaking of pickoffs, there's a smoke coming in from Ned, going in the mid lane. There's a Burrow Strike ready, and he's been spotted out. SNA, he gets Burrow Strike, he gets Waveform as well. Paradox is trying to get him with the spirits, and this should be enough. No. 1 level in Dragon's Blood. going to be doing enough from that stout shield as well, getting some value. So, rotation, not really going to be
Dire's
successful.
middle tower is under
Storm,
attack.
still getting some last hits under tower. King RD's feeling okay. Still sitting at 11 for 3 against a 16 for 8 of Fluff. Going to be enough, I think. And they both have lane wards, so they know exactly what's going on. Nothing is really going to be gotten away with in this bottom lane. And Paradox just going to be controlling runes, and 40R going to be farming up. He doesn't have a whole lot of money. Alright, he got his Midas recipe. I was wondering if he was going in for a hand of Midas or something, or if he got a bottle of his own, and maybe has boots on the courier as well. But he's going to be going in for that hand of Midas, so he's going to be trying to hit the late game. By the way, bottom lane, yep, there was a Nightmare into an arrow. Leap is there as well, and with a few right clicks, going to be able to secure the first blood there for the Bane. Kind of to be expected. I mean, laying against Bane Mirana is just really, really hard. It's so much burst with the Brain Sap and the Starstorm, not to mention, if there's no one else in the lane to take the aggro off of you, it's a guaranteed arrow from the Nightmare. So, you're already getting some sort of feed, or what's the word I'm looking for? Benefit from that off lane. So, Mad Pink's coming out from Storm. Not sure why. Well, anyway. DK does activate an Ender's Rune, but it was spotted by 40R. Maybe he just doesn't notice. He starts morphing Strength right away. That's a beautiful thing, being able to morph Strength while you're stunned. And he just gets some Bulb Charges and salves as well, and he's just back at it. Meanwhile, Ned, he's going to be stacking the jungle here, but don't expect this to go uncontested. SNA, they're going to start having their supports rotating and making room, while Darkseer is going to be farming up that mechanism, as well as Fluff's going to be just farming away as well. Already has the phase boots up. Decent amount of last hits. Everything should be okay. Brazil has not gotten harassed out of lane just yet. He's ready to TP. Looks like they're moving a lot more to the bottom lane. Does DK? Yeah, DK has a double damage rune, so they're going to try to be aggressive with this while Sand King is derooting, especially because they saw the Midas recipe on Morphling, so they want to do something to punish that at the very least. DK activates the double damage. It was spotted by this Radiant Observer Ward, though, right before it timed out, but King RD, he's hiding. Ward thrown down behind the tower here from SNA, from Sneaking Nyx Assassins. And it looks like Storm is successfully hidden. I guess they decided they just want to push the lane instead, which they can now that they have a Dragon Form and a DD rune. Probably should be looking to do that, at least force the glyph out for more pushes later on. So actually, King RD, he gets spotted again. There's the arrow, going to be there. Remnant as well to spot the positions of everyone. Breathe Fire is there, and one more right click from Lush is going to be able to take it out. So, Thunderstrike going to be able to get him. But in the meantime, mid tower is getting pressured. Furion's farming up, and it's just 2 deaths away of the Storm Spirit, which I hear you don't really want to play from behind. But still, it's not the end of the world.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I don't know. This trade kind of seems kind of bad. Ned is derooting. There's an arrow, man. I was about to say there's no detection, but you kind of have to be in the same place for that, so questionable play. But mid tower does go down, so I'd say overall a much better trade for CNB to get that mid tower down. Their safe lane is, it's kind of whatever. As long as they have more of this area to work with this tier 1 mid still up, it should be okay for the most part. And Dire losing their tier 1 mid, they still have 2 towers that are pretty close to Roche, both in their off lane, so it's not the end of the world, but I think that CNB got some pretty good value out of that. So as they're coming out of the laning phase, Morph sitting out top of the net worth, got his boots, Ring of Aquila, going to be farming up a Storm, especially with the Wisp helping him out. Brazil, pretty close to his hand of money as well after his phase boots. Fluffy's picked up a bottle, picked up his Ring of Aquila, and Mike, he's almost got the mechanism, so really, really good actually. Sitting at 62 last hits, IX Mike has been farming incredibly well. So he's going to have about a 9-minute mech after a Soul Ring and boots, so pretty freaking good timing on that. And I expect Sneaking Nyx Assassins to try to take some team fights with that, with Dragon Form, with the mech coming online, as well as Fluff. He's going to be going for some drums as well as he's picked up his gauntlet. So early fighting build pretty much all around. Top lane, and not too much action happening. So The thing about this, though, is since Storm has died twice, we're going to have a pause coming up. Not sure what the pause is for, but gonna be whatever. But yeah, the thing is for CNB is, since Storm was, like, they can't really teamfight, I don't think, because Storm was shut down pretty hard. I mean, there's the epicenter on Ned, but he doesn't really have a blink dagger. They kind of really need Brazil to make space whenever these pushes are coming up. At the very least, IX Mike can defend towers by himself, but you want him in the team fight because you want him to have that mechanism as well. Not sure why we're still paused. Sec for the Wisp. Well, in the meantime, I'll take this time to mention that. Actually, I have no idea really what I want to mention. The EU Qualifier Grand Finals was amazing. Should check that out. I believe both joinDOTA and BTS did a broadcast of that. This is Toby and Puppy, as well as Sunsfan and Cinderin. It's really hard for me to choose between them. I chose Sunsfan and Cinderin, though. So those are pretty good games if you were looking for something else to watch later on tonight. Of course, this is going to be a CNB doubleheader. After this, they're going to be facing... they'll be facing Marjan. So, just going to be another best of 2. Currently, we spent most of this game paused. That's not the end of the world. We can look at the hats that Volvo has given us. I'm not a big fan of this Marana hair, actually. I kind of like the, I don't know which one it is, but it's the one with the, like, pullback, and then the dreadlocks that are, like, even. Dreadlock-looking things. And this DK set is epic, man. I don't think I've seen this before, but this is like an old, wise dragon man. It's like how he's meant to be. And Bane, still no cosmetics. Disruptor, it looks okay. He's got the secret agent patch. I never thought Disruptor was a particularly... I don't know, it's hard to read his personality. Whereas some heroes really wear their heart on their sleeve. So it is going to be a 4-man top with Fluff farming down bottom lane. Dragon Form's going to be popped, and they can kind of just systematically do this with these towers. And I really think that they should be. You need to punish that Morphling Midas, punish the Nature's Prophet a bit as well. Sand King is a little bit greedy as well. He's not the greediest support, but greedy in his own right that he really wants his farm, but still, CNB taking advantage of this. This is the second time. They're just going to be counter pushing with an overcharged Morphling, which is really good. It's a lot of damage already with all that agility he's got in the morph. So top tower will go down. Chip damage down to the tier 2 mid, just about a quarter of it. So it's whatever. I think the main story here is we're going to have to see how King RD recovers. It's going to be hard for him. He didn't really get too much farm in the lane, and he's really far off from anything relevant such as his Orchid Malevolence, or if he wants to go super early fighting, he goes for something like a Soul Ring. But he has his treads at the very least. But he's still... all of these heroes really just kind of want to farm. Nature's Prophet doesn't really want to fight. Storm Spirit is the best fighting hero they have, and he just needs time still, just because of the position he's been put in. So SNA, they get a lot of time in if they choose to push towers with it, which it looks like is what they want to do, to systematically take down the towers. Or if they choose to get some farm on their own and try to get a resurgence on their first items, or a big surge of power as all their first items kind of come online. That's good too. But going to be looking for the pickoffs. Well, TP going to be coming out. Moonlight Shadow is spotted, and Double Starstorm going to be there as well. Ball Lightning, well, going to be able to get him. But yeah, the Moonlight Shadow was spotted by this ward mid lane as DK walked up to the high ground away from the creep wave, and King RD thought something was awry, and he's actually going to have to go BKB first. So he's going to be the control in the team fights, and he just needs to make sure that he stays alive. And going BKB first on a hero like Storm or Queen of Pain or someone like that, it feels so underwhelming. You're just not able to do as much damage or provide as much control as you're used to most of the time. But still, being able to be alive, unlike Brazil, Static Storm is committed as well. Nature's Wrath actually did a lot of damage, but the mech there gonna be able to help him out. Tower, not in deny range. They might want to let it get in deny range. Nah, they're not gonna let it. So still, SNA currently sitting at 5-1, but the farm, I mean 40 R's just farming. Got his treads up already. Probably gonna be going for that Lincoln Sphere, especially because of the Fiend's Grip as well as a Dragon Tail initiation. Gonna be really good for him. Sometimes you go Lincolns even if you don't necessarily have any particular skill that you're going to be having to block with it, just because it's really good to be, well, the health in region is really good, especially on a hero like Morphling. So top tower does get denied, gets in deny range by creeps, and Ix Mike gets the deny on it, so pretty heads up play from him to just stick around and make sure that gets there. But the deny money, still going to be purchasing that at the Blink Dagger, so he has the mana for an Epicenter and a Burrow Strike right afterwards if he uses his whole mana pool, which is pretty absurd. But Fluff, he's gone hunting, man. He's almost picked up the drums. He's been down in this Radiant jungle more often than he's been on his side of the map, which is smart. You have an aggressive lineup, and you really want to be putting pressure. At least take the towers down so you can put pressure around this area of the map instead of this area. Ooh. Still, Dragon Form going to be used immediately. SNA, he's going to be going for his own BKB first. So instead of a Shadow Blade, which you don't really need just because you have a Mirana, which are going to be fine. 40R, he gets Dragon Tailed. There's a Surge as well. But Sand King, he's channeling an Epicenter. Status 1's going to be committed. There's a back into a wall. Kinetic Field is there as well. The 3 are down immediately. That positioning was really, really difficult for CNB. And, well, pretty easy wall back Disruptor combo. Gonna be getting a 3 for Nilhim as well as a tier 1 tower for SNA. So looking even better. Top lane getting split push as well, and that buys Ix Mike a Blink Dagger. So now he has a lot of initiation potential as well in DK. Whenever he goes for his BKB, he can start working towards that Assault Cuirass to make all these fights go that much better for him, as well as melting down those towers after the subsequent fights, assuming that they win them. So good stuff, good stuff. I kind of expect Fluff to be going for maybe a Manta style or a Molnir. Molnir's kind of been the popular build on Miranas these days, after their drums as well. Manta kind of synergizes a bit well with that, with the move speed, as well as you get the debuff option, so that you can remove things like Orchid, or you can remove things like, I guess you can really only remove that, but move speed and the damage is pretty good for that agility hero. But Maelstrom, pretty good item. I think it has like an 85% win rate in this patch, just because Chain Lightning is so absurd. Interestingly enough, 40R, he's going to be going for his own BKB. So I guess he just wants to make sure he gets this BKB. He's going to rely on the Wisp regeneration to really be helping him instead of his own items. And going to maybe be going for the shotgun a bit later. Shotgun's really not going to do too much for him until he gets a lot more agility items. By the way, bottom lane, Ned, he's going to be caught. Moonlight Shadow is going to be committed as well. Storm, he's trying to zip away. He's out of mana, and Ned's going to be able to get there with some Blink Dagger play. Static Storm was committed from the Disruptor, so not going to be able to get too much out of that, but they are 4-manning the bottom lane. Oh, and Fluff also has a DD bottle, so this next fight / tower push is going to be a lot easier for them. In the meantime, just based on efficiency, XP, gold, only about 2k difference each, which are both going in the favor of Seeking Nyx Assassins. Most of that is the tower gold. They're 1 tower ahead. The experience, I guess it's mostly on the supports. The cores are a little bit more ahead as well. So I think that would ultimately favor... I don't know who that would ultimately favor, I think. I think that favors SNA, just because their cores are going to come online so much more early, and they do so with a little bit less farm than the cores from CNB. But it all depends on what they do with it. If they sit idly by and not really do much, it's not really going to do a whole lot. But middle tower getting pushed out by Brazil, and this is what exactly he needs to be doing. Just safely applying pressure, and he picked up a Shadow Blade. So Sneaky Nyx Assassins need to be prepared to get this detection. This also gives them the potential to be the initiator later on in the game. You TP in, Shadow Blade, and hex someone, but still. Anyway. Fluff going to have his DD rune activated, and they might try to go towards Roche. Yeah, going to be looking to get Roche with this DD. Smoke was used from CNB to try to catch anyone farming their jungle, realizing they need some control, but Lust is still there as well. And Sneaky Nyx Assassins, they're going to be able to see whatever's going on with this Observer Ward. They also have one in the mid lane here. So they're going to be able to take this Roche pretty easily, and well, this ward doesn't see it, but I guess,
Dire structures are fortified.
I don't know. I don't know how this isn't sniffed out. Mike, he comes and vacuums Ned. Not really going to vacuum on the high ground or anything, though, but Glimpse is going to be coming into the kinetic field, but it's going to miss. Ned might be able to get away, but no, but the negative urn charge is going to be able to get him. In the meantime, Roche is going to be going down. Mech is there as well. They pop the dust to make sure that no one just happens to be invis, because they saw the invis rune get taken, I guess. Still top lane.
Roshan has fallen to
Looks
the
like they're just
tower.
going to be trading here. Going to be riding it out. Pot him. Fluff, he gets the Aegis. And he's going to be going for a BKB. God, all these freaking BKBs, man. Why don't you buy some more exciting items? Moonlight Shadow's going to be used. IX Mikey's going to be chasing as a glimpse on the Morphling. Oh, but he replicates out right away. Really smart of him to be saving that before the static. Oh, but what an arrow from Fluff. The Strength Morph is coming. The Strength Morph is real. Paradox. He does not have a relocate. But the Strength Morph is making it really hard. Lust is going to be able to pick off the Wisp in the meantime. There's the Leap as well, but the Burrow Strike in the epicenter. Fluff and stuff. He might go down here. It's just going to be an Aegis. Mech is going to buy him a lot of time at the Static Storm. 40-yard silence. Point-blank arrow from towards Ned. Nature's Prophet TP's in. He clears that off at the last second. There's a blink away from Ned as well. And the Lust, he gets sprouted as well. Fluff. But they don't have detection. Oh, they do have detection. They have that second dust. And the Glimpse is going to be coming back as well. Priscilla, he's dead. Very dead. Trying to right-click down Lust. Negative urn charge going to be able to get him. Oh, but the Wrath of Nature. Going to get him, but Fluff finishes him off the end. Good for him to trade himself at the very least. This also allows Ned to throw some wards up in the jungle, replace this ward, throw this ward down as well, and put some pressure on the mid lane. This is what their lineup is good at, is stalling, buying time, and being rats, to put it bluntly. And Snarl at least has his BKB, so he's in good fighting shape, probably going to work towards that Assault Cuirass. Nuzan doesn't have too much. He's probably going to be working towards a Blink Dagger. He finds Ned, and he just casually Nightmares him. He's going to Brain Sap, but, oh well. There you go. That's the power of detection. Just with the Brain Sap and one of the right clicks, not going to be able to hide under the Sandstorm. 13-2 currently coming out for SNA. Not even on towers. They're one tower behind, but still. This is what their lineup needs to be doing: getting kills, finding space in the early game. But even with that, they're not that far ahead. Mostly it's just EXP, because they've just gotten more kills, which are going to grant more EXP than creeps, of course. But the gold is pretty even, and this lineup does go pretty late. Dust barely going to be missing Nature's Prophet there. So 40R. Wait. Okay. Now, these don't make anything together. So maybe he decided he was going to go BKB, and then maybe he just thought he could get away with a Manta or a Lincoln's. I'm not sure. Maybe you just wanted health, but if you want health, you can get an Ultimate Orb anyway, which gives you 10 strength. So he has plus 20 strength. Maybe it's just a little bit of indecisiveness. And we see that sometimes. Moonlight Shadow going to be used mid lane. Ned. Static Storm is committed. Doesn't hit him as well, but the arrow going to be able to fire into the Sandstorm. Really good use of the arrows there from Fluff. Just kind of saving them for when there's a Sandstorm when Ned tries to get away. It's almost to the point where you don't even want to try a Sandstorm. They've just countered it almost every time. Either with some detection or just with an arrow to bust him out of it. It's kind of like playing Sand King against Invoker. Like, you go and try to Sandstorm and he just tornadoes or Deafening Blast right there, and you're like, well, that sucks. So I think the gameplay now for SNA is just, well, to be killing them anytime there's Moonlight Shadow up. Taking control of the map and pressing their Roche advantage. And they aren't really trying to push towers unless they get a team fight or get a good pickoff. And their team's really good at having pickoffs. Their supports are kind of greedy. They can't really afford to spend too much on detection, even though they have been. It really delays their items a bit. So SNA just taking advantage of that and playing very methodically, playing very well. Same going for CNB, but it just hasn't been going as well. At least Storm now has a BKB, so he can team fight a bit. This is way before Disruptor's going to be able to get an Ags, even though he's kind of halfway there. Interestingly enough, going for phase boost, we don't normally see that. The arcane boost. Well, mid lane, Fluff, He gets a kill on the Wisp. King RD was there as well to try to do something, but not going to be able to do it. IX Mike, he's running in as well for backup, and everyone's, besides the Disruptor, are kind of just chilling out. And Bane is going to be going for a Force Staff, it looks like. But normally we do see Arcane Boots just because the mana pool is great, as well as the movement speed is whatever. Arcane Boots give you what? They give you 55 move speed as opposed to... Oh, actually, they give you like no move speed at all. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Gives you a little bit more, but I still think if you just get like a Blink Dagger, which... Oh, okay, you got a Blink Dagger. Then you don't really need the Phase Boots. It's kind of whatever. All your positioning is fine, and the Arcane Boots just helps your team so much. But it's been working out for them. I mean, they're 16-2, so I can't really harp on that too badly. Still 16-2 our kill score. Storm way, way behind. If we're looking at the rest of the cores, he's got 6k net worth versus the next, which is 9k coming out from DK. And they recognize this. They need to go make something happen, so they smoke up in the mid lane with Ned and King RD. They've got Brazil as well. Maybe they might use him as bait. There are the arrows drawn from SNA to say, we need to push in these lanes. I have a DD rune. And he's gone for a Maelstrom. So we might have double Maelstrom coming out. Fluff might get one after he has his next item, after he's finished his BKB. But pushing out the lanes, doing a lot of damage in team fights, and going to be easy enough. I think, to do a lot of damage with not a whole lot of items. Morph does go ahead and get his Lincoln's finished, so probably going to go for that BKB. Also, Storm looks like it had a bit of an engagement in the bottom lane, but not going to be able to do too much with it. SNA did not commit his DD rune, fortunately. They're going to want to commit that to a tower. So Ned, he's going to be able to get out as well. And Storm will be working towards that pretty late Orchid Malevolence. Even if it's not like a 12, 13 minute Orchid or anything crazy like that, it's still pretty useful. Jump on someone, blow them up. So, Brazil, he's looking to initiate here. He uses the Shadow Blade after running in the trees. He's going to be spotting and going to see no one there. 40R, farming the enemy woods pretty aggressively. And they plant down a ward. Going to be spotted though. And arrow to fly. Vacuum, not going to be there as well. Paradox, he needs to tether. And he gets the tether off to the Morphling. So 40R is going to be able to save him there. In the meantime, Moonlight Shadow was used, spotted by the ward. They pinged out the Disruptor. Sentry Ward is set to lay as a bait. And Lust, he gets baited pretty hard. Burrow Strike is there, long zipping from the Storm, and he gets his kill. But still, Spada manages to get a kill in the top lane. They're looking for Morphling. He's going to be pretty hard to kill, but IX Mike is chasing him as well. He's got the Surge, and, well, never mind, double kill going to be coming out for DK on the backside of the fight. Fluff, he's there. 40R, he's trapped in the trees. He does have a waveform, but back is there. They're going to be able to get him in on the backside of the fight. That's a 4 for 1. Only the Disruptor going down. And they're going to be able to push this tower as well with that DD rune and the Dragon Form coming out. Brazil doing the only thing he can. He's going to be going for that Scythe. He's going to have it really soon. And just going to be split pushing up the mid lane. So now he's the initiation with the Shadow Blade into the Hex. So now he has to pull back. Only one hero that can solo him. And it's just Fluff. Now Fluff's been getting a lot of kills. Currently sitting at 7-1. Looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good. Brazil still farming it up. Top tower goes down. Now all the outer tier towers are gone. Next objective is pushing high ground, and IX Mike picks himself up a Sheep's Dick. Also known as a Scythe of Ice. Also, they see a courier. Vacuum is there. Clear the trees. Courier, what are you buying? He grips the courier. Yes, you can Fiends grip the courier. You can Demonic Purge the courier. Also, King RD, he goes on to Fluff and stuff. This is going to be a big streak to end it if he can get it, but BKB is going to be popped. The Leap is there as well. Kinetic Field going to be buying some time, but TP in from Nature's Prophet. Static Storm is committed, and Glimpse is going to be there as well. They're going to trying to get this kill. He gets out of the Kinetic Field, but Dust is popped. Epicenter is there. Bless is going to go down. SNA, he's fighting 4v1. Never mind. There's the Bane as well. He throws down the Nightmare on the Ned, and he's going to be trying to do what he can. Sentry Ward is there. Moonlight Shadow is used effectively, but the wall, the reinitiation is going to be huge. IX Mike, he's going to be getting a kill. Everyone's such low health. They're all trying to run away right now, but IX Mike with the Surge, going to be doing a lot here. They're going after Brazil. He minuses something before he dies at the very least. And, God, look at Mike, not microing his illusions at all. God, what a terrible player. Just kidding, Mike. You were the reason they won that fight. But come on. Come on. Anyway. Mjolnir now finished on the Knight. Looks like it will be, as anticipated, another Mjolnir coming out on Fluff and stuff. And Disruptor, after that Blink Dagger, we do anticipate going for Ags. Force Staff not going to be on Newsam anytime soon. Looks like he's just going to be buying some more wards and all that stuff. Oh, never mind. There actually was still a tower mid. I thought that had already gone down. But that will go down now. 40R, he's getting harassed a bit, but not too much going to come out of that. And CNB, they need to pop out back in their base. And this is just, well, Storm goes on the Fluff and stuff. Fluff, he has a leap ready, has a BKB as well. They're going to turn this around. There's a Hex on the King RD. He's just getting right-clicked. He's just getting manned up. Fluff beyond godlike right now, currently at a 10-1 streak. And Roche going to be pinged out now, so this is just the effect we're seeing when Storm starts off with a bad start. It's just so hard to recover, and it's so hard to get the pickoffs that you need. It's just really, really difficult to play this hero from behind, which is normally why we see him put mid in a good matchup or pseudo babysat in a way. Because if you can't get those pickoffs, you don't really farm particularly quickly, and you don't really do too much in a team fight. Because ideally you want to zip in, have a lot of mana pool, people have to use their spells on you, and you zip out because you can't be targeted during ball lightning. But if you can't do that, then, well, what's the whole point? So at least the Scythe of Ice is now finished on Brazil, so they have a little bit more control. It's going to be a long time before an Orchid or a Sheep comes out from King RD, as well as damage starting to come out of Morphling. Most of his damage is coming from the stats as well. Interested to see if he finishes up this BKB or if he goes greedy and goes for a shotgun or something like that. Meanwhile, there was a dewarding mission from Ned, but he ends up finding their whole team. And yeah, looks like that's it. But mid tower going to be pushed out, but Replicate going to be coming out from 40R. So they're playing this about as well as they can, I think, but 25-6, making it pretty hard. And this Storm Spirit's essentially a support. Not his fault, of course, but when it comes to the team fights, he just doesn't provide very much in his current state. It's very difficult. The split push has been effective at the very least, but SNA are so ahead that they can just send one hero to deal with the Nature's Prophet. They can send a support if they really want to. Like, maybe there can be a Hex from Nature's Prophet. He's not hitting particularly hard. And I think that after that, one of the supports can probably just take care of him. And they can leave the chorus to take the team fight. They see the push moving up the top lane. They go ahead and go trying to move that. So, at least Force Staff finished on Bane, so Sprout not going to be an effective form of control as well. So anyone gets sprouted, they just get Force Staffed out immediately. So they're going to have to rely on the Scythe of Ice, which is really their only control minus just the Electric Vortex. I always call it the pool. Everyone calls it pool. I always sometimes forget the actual skill name, but the pool is going to be it. And the control just coming out for SNA is just so much greater. They have the Fiend's Grip, they have a Static Storm, and he's going to be going for that Aghanim Scepter. They have the Darkseer as well, who has his Hex. By the way, there's going to be a Glimpse and a Hex on the Ned. He gets caught dewarding again. Does his team just not want to help him deward? They're really throwing Ned to the wolves here. But, I mean, Wisp is babysitting. And you can kind of go with Nature's Prophet as well. He can help you deward. I don't know, man. That's like the third or fourth time Ned has been picked off from the deward. Also, Storm Spirit just gets picked off in the bottom lane. Bane, he's coming in as well. He's going to find the Courier again. They're going to be able to get that again. And Dragon Tail on the 40-yard. Oh, it barely finds him in the trees. He was juking around, and they're going to be able to get him. He's going to be trying to Strength Morph Wisp. He doesn't have a relocate, and so I think they're just going to lose too. Nightmare going to be on to Wisp, and he gets Dragon Tail. Looks like they'll settle for that. So at least he saves his carry. But in the top lane, Brazil, he's going to go down to IX, Mike, and Fluff and stuff. Yeah, this is too much. I don't think CNB can come back from this. And yeah, GG comes out from Ned. So that's going to be it as far as our game one going to be going on. So it's once again a 2-game series.
Dire victory.
So we'll be going ahead and getting on into game 2 in just a moment. So this is just for the round robin stages to affect your standing. So it's not a best of 3 or anything like that. Seeking X Assassins just manages to take the take a 1-game lead in this quote-unquote best of 2. So we'll be right back. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. See you in a few minutes.